Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a little bit of a longer video, so bear with me. I promise this is going to be really exciting. So over the last 11 weeks, it's a 12-week program, I've been doing the Milkwood Permaculture Living course. And it's created also with David Holgren, who is one of the co-founders of the Permaculture Design course. And this is their little infographic, and there's 12 principles to live by. And what I really wanted to have a chat to you about today is the possibility of actually living a permaculture kind of life in an apartment. I live in South Yarra in Melbourne. We are in lockdown at the moment, so this has been a really good use of my time, learning all this new information and practicing some of the things that are spoken about in the course. First off, I really just want to say how smart the course has been created. You learn content, it's quick, bite-sized bits of information, it's not overwhelming. I never felt lost. But what's really powerful is the action steps that you do at the end of each week. And what I really appreciated with this program is that it gave you like 5 or 6 different ideas that you can do to live towards that principle. And you have the choice to pick what things resonate with you or things that you feel are attainable. Okay, I got a call and it broke my video, so I'm gonna have to join it. But each week you get a principle that you can live by, and it's really like, I never found it really overwhelming. And so to give you an example, like, obtain a yield. One of the things that I chose to do was to start a herb garden. So since then I've been looking at ways that I can build a herb garden or create a herb garden environment here in an apartment. And so I haven't ticked that off yet, but I've been working on it as the weeks unfold. One of the other activities under Principle 4 is, to self-regulate. And the activity I did there was to calculate my carbon footprint. So as bills come in, I'm taking down the notes and putting them into the calculator and then realizing what my actual carbon footprint principle is. But what I'm excited to show you today is some of the things that I've been able to do since going through the course. And there's heaps of action items for you to choose from. But some of the ones that have really stood out for me is reducing waste. Just being really mindful about how what we buy, comes in so many different packages. And so like, I do find myself now going to Woolworths and buying, loose items, and I try and carry them, or bring in my own bags to carry things in. Most times I forget, but I'm then juggling everything. And so, just making those things like, do I really need a bag? Just questioning everyday environments. But the first one I'm going to show you, I'm going to have to bob down to get this one, is I started a worm farm. So this is thanks to Compost Revolution. It's very compact. This is the entire size of it. It sits on my balcony, I might get back in the camera, on my balcony in the shade, and all my food scraps now go in here. The only food scraps that don't go in here is citrus, garlic, and onion. And for those, what I've also started doing is popping them in the freezer, in a freezer bag. And if you've been following me on social media, you would have seen that recently I made, actually today I bottled this up, it's still a bit warm, bone broth. And so all the offcuts that come off, say, the end of an onion and even the peel, the inserts of a capsicum, and a few other things that aren't really, I'm not super keen putting into a compost system. They go in the freezer and then they go into like a bone broth or a vegetable broth, or you could even use them in soups and things like that. So again, that's another little simple thing to reduce waste and stops it from going to landfill. One of the other things I've done is I've started making kombucha tea. You probably can't see it that great there, but I've been enjoying making kombucha tea and the probiotics that comes from that. One of the lessons I talked about, observing your area, just going for a walk and observing different spaces and so forth. But that was really good to do. But what I really got out of that week was the fact that there is so many edible weeds. And so I've been practicing exploring a little bit more about what to eat. I'll be honest, I still feel a bit uncomfortable with the process, but the mindset is changing and it is going there. One of the other things I did is I went down to a natural shop down the road and I bought these natural laundry powder and dishwashing liquid. Now, the reason why I bought these ones, and yes, I did buy it in the packaging, but because they offer a discount when you go back and refill it. So this container here will now become a refillable container that I'm able to take back and actually get a refill at a better price. So that's, again, reducing waste. One of the other things that I really enjoyed exploring was where my food came from. And so I decided to sign up to a subscription box where regeneratively and ethically grown meat is sent to me once a month. And so that's by Three Bears Farms. And I can't wait for lockdown to finish so I can actually go out and meet the farmer. This week is another one that's been delivered, and they also do eggs now. So I've got pasture raised eggs coming in this month's subscription box as well. And the box is cardboard. I'm going to give it back to them so they can reuse it. Again, another little step, instead of throwing the box out. This course, while it feels like common sense, it's amazing. I didn't realize until I stopped and actually thought about it, what I was throwing out, what I was just not realizing. And I thought I was already being conscious and I was already practicing a lot of reuse, reduce and recycle principles. But doing this program made me realize that there's the next level, the next step. Another product that I became really excited about, this is so weird because it's a silicone, and I know silicone is plastic, and I've had a few friends who are into studying material safety data sheets explore this. This is a company called Agreener, and it's basically a replacement for cling wrap, foil, and baking paper. And now I use this for everything. You can wrap fruit in it, like if you half open a fruit, you can cut these down if you want them smaller. You can put leftovers in them, but as a baking tray and then cling wrap, it works really well. It's kind of easy to clean in the sink with a bit of soap and hot water. Speaking of soaps, I've also just started supporting the Dr. Bronner's brand for more natural soaps. They do a lot to give back to the community. The money and the profits go to really good programs, and they support education and they source products from organic and natural growers all around the world. So I really aligned a lot with their business values as well as their product value. I'm just, there's so many things to show you. I'm buying honey from a shop downstairs that buys it from a natural beekeeper, semi-local. It's not as local as I would have liked it, but being in South Yarra, Melbourne, there's not many beekeepers here that sell honey or put it into a commercial point of view. And the other thing I've been doing as well is keeping old jars and repurposing them. And it's really simple. Once you finish, you just throw it in the dishwasher or something, or clean it, and it comes out really good. And you can put all sorts of goodies inside of them. So, I just really wanted to make this video to highlight that, permaculture and living with a lighter impact on the planet doesn't necessarily have to be for people who have backyards and can grow their own food. Permaculture is not just designing the backyard or retro suburbia type of environment. It's about just changing the way that you buy things. You look at the products you're buying. What is their production impact? What is their embodied energy? And so some of the things that I'm also exploring behind the scenes is that during lockdown, it's been a little bit harder, but I've joined the repair cafe that runs out of St. Kilda. So I can't wait for their first one to be open. Taking the mindset of can we repair things instead of just buying a new one? Connecting with local community gardens, and I'm even exploring repurposing some land here in South Yarra. Obviously, I need to open up the dialogue with council, but there's so many green spaces here in South Yarra that could potentially be turned into community gardens, and chatting to some of the people in my network to help with that as well, people who have run community gardens in the past. One of the other things I did was I joined Yarn Australia. I wanted to get in contact with a lot more of First Nation people, understand the original landowners and the way that they respected and observed nature and our land. And so I've joined Yarn Australia as another action item to really understand more of our historic activities and educate myself in that area. Connect, one of the things with design and design from patterns to detail, which is principle 7, is connect with traditional landowners. And it just happened that I was already in contact with Warren, who runs Yarn Australia, and we even did a webinar recently to increase the impact that they're having with bridging the gap between traditional landowners and non-Australians. What else is here? Like, organize a buy nothing event, something that I'd like to do after COVID. Reuse packaging, which I've shown things to do. Start a seed bank, so I think it's really cool. Once I start growing some things, I know I've got limited space here, but I'd love to like collect the seeds and keep them native and local to the area. The kombucha tea's been really good. This is a honey-driven kombucha because I'm not really big on like refined sugars and so forth, and so I've really enjoyed this. They call it a Jun kombucha, Jun, and it just has an amazing flavor to it. It beats any of the kombucha you buy from the shop. And I've just really enjoyed mixing around with different flavors. Last month I made lime, natural, and ginger. This month I'm exploring strawberry, ginger, and blueberry. So I find that from making this 4 liters, I get 3 little bottles, and I'm playing around with different flavors. So I just really wanted to make this video so you know that if you're thinking about living a more conscious lifestyle, you want to, reduce your impact on the planet, and especially now post-COVID, seeing what we've done to the planet and how it's, repairs really quickly when humans get out of the way. Permaculture living could be an opportunity. I really want you to embrace it no matter what your situation is. So I wanted to show you that even in an apartment that's quite small, you can live permaculture principles and ingrain that into your life. And what that does is give you the mindset shift. It's going to be very hard for me to not kind of continue living this way. Doesn't matter if it's in an apartment, on land, suburbia with a veggie patch. So hopefully that is giving you some inspiration. There will be links around this video to some of the products and things that I've mentioned. So feel free to check them out, but I definitely really recommend getting involved with the Milkwood Permaculture course. It is a lot better than what I thought, and that comes with all respect. I guess, think I was always under the school of thought of, if I was going to do permaculture, I need to have a veggie patch and I need to be able to put chickens in there and things like that. And I've really learned that I was mistaken, and I wish I would have done this earlier. So enjoy whatever you decide to do, but if permaculture living is something you choose to embrace, reach out and share some of the things that you've started doing, and let's hang out one day, even if it's over Zoom, and geek out with all things permaculture. Until next time, take care and stay sharp.